Hello, hello, my beautiful friends. It's so amazing to be here with you guys and to drop this episode. I have to tell you a little bit about it. I spoke with Tracy. She's a photographer and she's someone that's in my membership group. We are Magnetic Women. And so she's done a lot of these sessions with me, but not one-on-one. So this was really a great opportunity for her to dive into some of her things going on right now in her head around goals and aspirations and even a 5-year plan and then a 10-year plan. Just being able to see that future where she wants to take her business because it is within her grasp. But she definitely feels foggy around all of that. So it was really cool to dive into this with her. I hope you guys enjoy it and get a taste of the kind of work I get to do with these beautiful, amazing souls every day of my life. It's just the best kind of feeling to help them through these kind of struggles and to connect things from their past with how they feel in their future, with how they feel right now. Because in Tracy's case in particular, we were able to pull up something from childhood that she was so young for, but yet it established a pattern in her life that she probably wouldn't have been able to get a grasp on outside of doing this deeper work that we did today. Keep in mind as you listen to the way that this unfolds that most of your subconscious programs are solidified in your subconscious by the time you're 7. And so that does include you as a baby. That does include you in the womb. So I hope you listen with an open mind and I hope you learned something today as well. All right, we will talk to you guys soon. Enjoy. Hey friend, welcome to Deep Healing for Creative Entrepreneurs. My name is Aubrey Barr, and I am a subconscious release technique practitioner and photography business owner. I know you are sick of ending your day feeling overwhelmed and exhausted, and you are seeking a solution to help you feel creatively inspired and actively engaged in your business as well as personal life. In this podcast, we are going to dig into any limiting beliefs or subconscious programs that are keeping you in a space filled with anxiety and stress. This work is not a temporary solution for your life. No, this is a complete transformation. So grab your coffee or tea and let's start you on the road to healing. And let me just say, you can do this, you are worth it, and you are meant to thrive in life and business. So let's dig in.
Talking about things that are holding you back, kind of aiming to deep dive to figure out what is a roadblock for me, because I know obviously insecurities are there. I mean, what creative doesn't have insecurities, right? But ultimately, what is the deep root? Was it something that somebody said to me at one time and I need to forgive and heal and move on? Is it just my perception that ultimately at times I'm ooh, I'm not good enough to be able to really do what I want to achieve? I don't know.
This is really good because I'm actually picking up on a lot of fogginess around what is my ultimate goal. What is that? And that's kind of what I want to ask you now is there's roadblocks. You can tell there's things that are not getting you there. My question is, what is there for you? What does that look like? And are you allowing yourself to even see that picture? Because it feels like the roadblocks might be not allowing myself to dream about this or accept that this could be a goal. What's going on there when I talk about that?
So it's ironic that you even mentioned that, just because my husband and I, we've both been aiming to figure out what is our big goal, not, our dreaming goal that we know that we can achieve. I can't put my finger on it. And our last night, even I had a conversation with one of our boys because he has a very specific goal at 17 of what kind of car he really, really, really wants. And I told him that I'm in awe of him because he's 17 and he's yes, I want this used car and I don't care that it's 30 or 40,000. Like, that's fine because that's what I want. And I'm like, I love that for you. And even though my goal that unfortunately is foggy, it's not the same. I know that that's not the same. And I have determined like having a super nice car is not meaningful to me. Having a functional car, is fantastic. And, of course I don't want to, I don't have a rust bucket or anything like that, but like
Right.
having a sports car or having a super luxe car, that's not my thing. But
I love that.
yeah.
So I'll tell you something that when you were talking about your son in that car and just being in awe, like what I felt was sadness. Not that you're not proud of him and happy, but like a part of you that maybe felt like you couldn't pinpoint it like that. You couldn't. I'm not saying you felt sadness in the moment. What I'm saying is that there's some sadness from the past, maybe somebody saying to you, Tracy, that's a ridiculous goal, or that's you could never do that. Why shoot for something big when, like something there from the past? Does anything
Yeah.
come up when you think about that? It's like,
So, yeah, when I was younger, so I developed medical issues when I was 6 months old. From the time of being 6 months all the way until I hit puberty, I had just wild issues, and I was taken to one specialist after another. At one point, even a specialist told my parents, so I'm assuming I was in the room, so maybe subconsciously I heard it, that I should have never been able to walk or talk. I should have been a vegetable. And
wow.
I had to go through different therapies because my left and right brain, my hemispheres did not physically connect. So I physically could not cross my midline.
Wow.
Yeah. I had issues where light sensitivity would actually cause my eyes to roll back in my head. You couldn't see, like all you could see was white. And I remember the agony. Yeah. So that lasted for me until I was 12 and a half, somewhere in there.
What fixed that? What?
Hormone shift. So, but yeah, the being able to cross my midline, my parents found, my mom, I believe actually, she found an educational kinesiologist, and we did what was called brain gym. And so it's a lot of physical exercises of forcing your hemispheres to work together at the same time.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
That sounds very valuable too.
So, but
Okay.
yeah. So I had that. And then
Yeah.
with everything else, with all of my other medical drama, for lack of better words, it just, when I started my period, things leveled out. And I don't know if it was a blessing. I don't know if it was just in due time. Like, I truly don't know. But along the way, like, I had specialists who was like, maybe it's a food allergy. And so they stripped me of all kinds of different foods. And then I had to gradually add things in. I was put on anti-seizure medications because different things additionally that would happen, even though I never physically had like convulsions. I had one doctor at one point say that he thought I had a form of Downs, and I have genetically and physically, I have no markers for Downs. So
they didn't know. They
didn't
just
know.
really,
they were literally grasping at straws. And so a lot of my childhood was told, oh, sorry, honey, you can't go do that. You're not able to.
I am absolutely picking up on that and have to say, like, hearing you talk about it, it's really crazy, like, not to get all spiritual on you, but I definitely see that you had some like outside help. You definitely had some angels or something watching out for you. It's really quite cool to see that, honestly. But yeah, so I feel like
I've
in
been
that
told,
situation,
I've been
have you
told
been
that
told that?
I have three guardian angels.
Yeah, I definitely picking up on that for sure with you and that whole experience. Like, some things never get explained, right? but you're meant to be here. I know that. And it's a very wholesome feeling. It's very welcoming. It's very beautiful. And I'm also picking up on when we think about like that whole phase in your life where you're probably constantly being told that the thing that I was picking up on around like doubting you or, what you're going to be able to do later. How's your life going to be if you live, or whatever. The biggest thing that I was picking up on is this survival mechanism too, where it's like, all I have to do is get better. And then there was nothing beyond that, right? Like there was no extra. We're not talking about the future all the time. We're not talking about college. We're not, it's really like, each challenge was like, just overcome this challenge and then just overcome this challenge, right? Like it's just these tiny, tiny little steps. And it's almost like you have to expand now as an adult, the way that you think about the future and allow for it to be bigger. Because it's almost like you were taught not to do that. That's what it feels like.
And it wasn't, yeah. And it was, I feel like it was because everyone was unsure, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And, yeah. Well, so even going further back, so when my mom discovered that I was pregnant, my mom's OB sat her down and very softly spoke to her and said, I don't know why you say that you're pregnant. There's no physical way for you to be pregnant because you stopped ovulating. And she goes, I really feel that I am pregnant. Please do a pregnancy test.
Weird.
And she then, did the pregnancy test and they came back in and they were like, we owe you the biggest apology. You are clearly pregnant.
My gosh. Wow. I feel like there's so much to this story. It definitely has some layers for sure that I would love to dive deeper into at some point. There's a lot there. It's really cool. It's really quite cool. And I'm glad that you're sharing it with me because it's a different side that I don't get to hear a lot from people. So yeah. Okay. Let's focus, shall we? I definitely feel like there's a lot of things we can work on here. You started the call talking about having these roadblocks, having these insecurities and all these things. And my biggest thing on that is knowing that it's almost like you haven't been able to learn how to be okay and that it's safe to have like bigger plans, bigger goals or whatever. And I know you do well in your business. You've done quite well, right? So I don't want to downplay on that, but we're talking about a bigger picture here, like really getting into what do I want? How do I get clarity for what I want? And I think that is your biggest roadblock is not having that clarity. It feels very foggy, like I said before. So let's work on, for today's session, getting rid of some of these, what I call like survival mentality, just around like, let's get the food on the table. Let's get through this month. Let's, especially now that you have boys that are a bit older, it's like, yeah, you can plan ahead. You can, you can do whatever you want with life. I truly believe that. And I think you really can. So let's work on some of those. There's definitely, and you'll tell me, but there's definitely this idea of like not feeling secure that life is like a given, right? Like life is, we live day to day, right? We don't know about tomorrow. Like that is the big message here that's kind of solidified itself in your head, which is fine. We can work with that. I want to release some of these things. Like, how do you feel about death? Does it scare you? Does it feel like inevitable? Does it just like whatever? Like, how does that feel?
Sorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. I think so too. That's where I'm picking up on the sadness, the sorrow. Yeah. We can clear that emotion around it for sure. Right? Sorrow. It's very heavy, isn't it? Okay. Let me write this down. It doesn't even feel like fear. It doesn't feel like fear. It just feels like sadness And some people do have that. That would be more common, but that's not where you're at for sure. Right?
Yeah. It's funny that, yeah. So one of my childhood doctors that I did actually see for a long time, she would always, if I had something, she constantly was like, "Oh, well, that's definitely not the norm. You're definitely not the common patient. Like, let's figure this out."
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, when I think about the word death, I just feel sorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. And there is a connection between planning for the future, right? Seeing a goal in mind, working towards something bigger, and knowing that that's just one step closer, right? That's just, who knows if you'll get there, but also that just means, hey, maybe I only make it 10 more years. Maybe, you know what I mean? So the mind will definitely get carried away and probably stop that from even happening. It's like, you know what? Let's not worry about it. Let's just live today. Right. And I think that was the message from childhood is like, live today, make it through, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So I definitely feel that deeply, like for you, but I know we can work with that. I know we can help move that along and make it feel a little bit more lighthearted, right? Because it should be, right? Life needs to be a little bit closer to lighthearted for us to enjoy those days that we get, Okay,
Fun.
let's go ahead. You've done this work with me before. So we are going to release some of these things. And if you're ready, you ready?
Yep.
Okay. I don't need to go through how we're going to do that because you already know. So let's go ahead and get started. I'm going to probably talk a little bit about brain stuff, neurological stuff. So we'll see how that goes, but that feels like it's a whole other rabbit hole.
I could definitely agree with that.
Actually, you do also have a program that says I'm not normal, and you're not. And that's okay, but we don't need to add an extra feelings. All right, let's get started. Should have been dead. I made it. I survived. We're going to get rid of some things around survival too. I survived. It just feels detached, I guess is the best way to put it. Tracy, go ahead and breathe in and hold. I release all anger with death. Breathe in and hold. I release all discontent with death. Good. Breathe in and hold. I release all humiliation with death. Good. Breathe in and hold. I release all worry with death. Ah, good. All right. Breathe in and hold. I release all sorrow from my body. Good. Breathe in and hold. I release all aggression with I survive. Good. Breathe in and hold. I release all dread with I survive. Breathe in and hold. I release all overwhelm with I survive. Breathe in and hold. I release all aggression with I'm not normal. Breathe in and hold. I release all confusion with I'm not normal. Good. Breathe in and hold. I release all jealousy with I'm not normal. Good. So breathe in and breathe out. Okay. Breathe in and hold. I release all aggression with what about tomorrow. Good. Breathe in and hold. I release all disappointment with what about tomorrow. Breathe in and hold. I release all blocks with faith with what about tomorrow. Okay. There's a lot of grief around childhood and like the whole situation that happened, like just not fully releasing that sadness. So I'm trying to see the best way we want to clear that. So I keep hearing me as a child, just me as a child over and over again. And I don't know if that's some thoughts, like when you think back to it, like you think back to the person you were or something, there's some sadness there. So we're going to release that weird statement because I feel like it needs to go. So here we go. We're just going to roll with it. So breathe in and hold. I release all annoyance with me as a child. Breathe in and hold. I release all despondency with me as a child. Breathe in and hold. I release all sadness with me as a child. Good. Breathe in and hold. I release all blocks with love with me as a child. Good. Should not have made it. Okay, breathe in and hold. I release all anger with I shouldn't be here. Breathe in and hold. I release all disappointment with I shouldn't be here. Good. Breathe in and hold. I release all skepticism with I shouldn't be here. Breathe in and hold. I release all blocks with support with I shouldn't be here. Breathe in and hold. I release all positive and negative emotional blocks with one day at a time. Very good. I'm checking that for everything else. Breathe in and hold. I release all positive and negative emotional blocks with my brain. Good. Very good. Okay. How are you feeling?
Really.
Then you
Always
have a
love,
smiles.
well, yeah. So one thing too that I know like random thoughts pop up in your head, shouldn't ignore. So being a burden, like that popped in my head, especially when you
Yeah,
were
we definitely don't want to ignore that.
like being a child. And that one I know for sure has carried over. Like,
Yeah, I can feel that one. It's I'm a burden is what it is, and we'll clear it. That's definitely a heavy one. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. Breathe in and hold. I release all annoyance with I'm a burden. Good. Breathe in and hold. I release all despondency with I'm a burden. Breathe in and hold. I release all hurt with I'm a burden. Breathe in and hold. I release all nervousness with I'm a burden. Okay. There's definitely part of that that's like, it's almost like, no, I want to hold on to that because that's my identity. Like it's a part of being a burden is a part of me, right? So that might be
want it to
something
be
that
though.
I know. That's obnoxious, right? And I do feel like we were able to move it a bit, but it is like there was a little bit of resistance. Like, hold on, wait, what am I if I'm not a burden, right? Like, is there another Tracy out there? You know? So that's just something good to think about as you add more things into your life and, meditate more and do other things like really establish this identity of who you are outside of that is going to be really helpful just moving forward, like in general, because it is something that feels like now we're getting rid of that. We're leaving a space there. And we don't want to also add in reasons why that's going to be you again, right?
Right.
I feel like that needs to be said. So I know you're probably like easygoing with some things and kind of like, oh, whatever you guys want to eat or whatever you guys want to do. That's what I'm picking up on. And it's like, yeah, but you can also have an opinion, right? You can have one. It's okay. Does that make sense?
Fully. Fully.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. It is. It's a part of you, and that's okay. You can work with that. You can move on from that. Having like a clear vision of where I want to be in 5 years, where I want to be in 10 years with husband, of course, or whatever. When you take away not wanting to be a burden, that in itself might give you more clarity on that, might allow you. And this is the thing that keeps coming up when I'm doing these with you is like feeling safe to explore it, right? Like we were chatting before I think I started the recording, but just like being like, oh, well, what about this? What if we moved here? What if we lived a life like this? Well, what does that look like? That part of you that's dreaming like that and kind of entertaining these other ideas is the part that we're constantly shutting off, and we're saying, shh, no, and it's almost like we come up with our own excuses of how that won't work or couldn't work. There's just no way, right? So yeah, so I think that kind of in a weird way came full circle, and I didn't see it coming, but it's definitely related. Let's do some fill-ups. Can we do that? Because there's something very specific I want to do for you with the fill-ups that's been on my mind this whole time. Let's see. Choose to acknowledge. Okay. Oof. Okay. Let's do this. And we're going to breathe them in the same way, right? So go ahead and take a deep breath in and hold. I am so happy and so thankful. I give myself permission to explore new ideas. Good. Breathe in and hold. I am so happy and so thankful. It is safe for me to live my purpose and look forward to the future. Okay. One more. Breathe in and hold. I am so happy and so thankful. I am open to the idea of new places and new adventures. Okay, just one more. Sorry, I lied. Breathe in and hold. I am so happy and so thankful. I am open to receiving more than I can imagine in all areas of my life. Good job. Awesome. I think those were good for you.